everybody, my name is Dee Burks, and as promised I have a big announcement today. And after the big announcement, I'm going to be talking to you about, does retirement kill intimacy? And yes, we're going to go there. You know, I hate it when YouTubers tell you there's going to be a big announcement and then they wait till the end of the video. Very frustrating. So I'm not going to do that to you. But I do have a big announcement for you. It's something I've been working on for a little bit, and I'm super happy with it so far. But you all are going to be my first testers. So basically what has happened is, and some of you have already figured it out because you're smarty britches like that, but I have started a second YouTube channel. And this is why. On this YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel, this is my basic channel. It will always be 100% my basic channel. Is all about retirement. However, anytime I talk about any sort of different content, if I talk about gardening or poker or food or anything different, the YouTube algorithm stops showing my videos even to people who have subscribed. It just completely shuts down my views. And unfortunately, that is a thing, and especially for small YouTubers like me, that's a big thing. So I decided that in order to have different content, that I would take this channel down to one video a week, which I did months ago, and I would start a second channel. Well, with everything that's been going on, which is a horrible excuse, I've just put it off and haven't gotten it done. Well, now it's done. And I get the most inquiries and questions on cooking for one person. How do you cook in retirement? How do you cook for just one person? And that's what the channel's about. It is called Cooking for One. So what I've done is I've taken recipes and I've sized them down for one person. So they're economical and fast. I mean, even if you're in retirement, it doesn't mean you want to spend hours cooking a meal. So I try to get everything done in 30 minutes or less. A lot of them are faster than that. And that way you can have a meal on the table and you don't have a bunch of leftovers. And I really don't like it when you make a recipe and it makes this vat of food, spaghetti or whatever. I don't want to eat it every day for the next 10 days. I just, no. I'd love for you to go over to the channel. I've got 2 videos up so far. If you will take a look at those, see what you think. And if it's something you think you might be interested in, I would love it if you subscribe. And then you'll be getting one video from me on this channel on Tuesdays and one video from that channel on Fridays. So thanks so much for that. Now, on to the main event. The question of intimacy in retirement has come up many times. And I've really kind of put off addressing it because you really have to, here again, dance around the little YouTube algorithm so your video doesn't get banned for content. So I wanted to be really careful, but at the same time, it is such a big issue, I wanted to address it. And just like a lot of issues with retirement, you think going into retirement, it's all going to be fabulous, it's going to be lovely, but then you end up having these mixed emotions. You've left a big part of your life behind. Your whole life has changed. And if you have a partner, their life changed too, whether they wanted it to or not. And you think it's going to be awesome, and in some ways it is, but in other ways it creates a tremendous amount of uncertainty and anxiety and sometimes financial pressure. All of those things contribute to less intimacy. And here again, when you have that ideal of retirement in your mind, you think, oh, we'll go on walks and you know, we'll do all these things together. And then you just end up fighting all the time. That happens a lot. Retirement is a tough transition in every single area. There are a few things about it that are super easy or that go exactly like you expect. Lower intimacy in retirement oftentimes is directly related to something physical. Just by nature, our hormones, male and female, lower as we age. And you know, if you've lived a decade or two, your hormones fluctuate throughout your life. But then as you age, they diminish. That affects you. It affects you mentally. It affects you in every way. Also, as you age, you might have more chronic conditions. You might be diabetic. You might be going through cancer treatments or have gone through cancer treatments. There are also a lot of medications that you take normally, even maybe something as simple as allergy pills, that could affect your hormone level, that could affect your level of anxiety. It could affect your sleeping patterns and have an indirect effect on intimacy. So the first step is to go see your doctor. Be sure you're good. Be sure your hormone levels are correct. Talk to him about any issues and continue to do that as you transition into the early part of retirement. Now, the second big area that can affect intimacy is big life changes. Retirement is a huge life change, but any life change can affect you in the same way. Whether you move, you change jobs, you have kids, the kids leave home, you retire, your spouse retires. Any kind of stress can affect that level of intimacy with your partner, and that is normal. But for some reason in retirement, when oftentimes you don't have much to do but sit around and worry about things, it becomes a much bigger issue than it is. It can take a lot of people up to 2 years to transition mentally to retirement, from working full-time to being retired full-time. It's a big transition emotionally, mentally, in every way. But oftentimes you go from working one day to retired the next day, and it's easy to discount the fact that it's going to take you a long adjustment period. It takes your partner a long adjustment period too. And when you have a lot of anxiety and there is uncertainty, depression is very common in newly retired people. And the thing is, it's easy to assume that's almost ridiculous. You should be thrilled to be retired. But there are a lot of mixed emotions. You are grieving a huge part of your life. Working, for most people, takes up a huge part of their life. And when that's gone, you've also lost the social connection. You've lost feeling productive, feeling valued, and that can easily lead to depression. And the fourth big contributor is lifestyle. When you retire, it's easy to fall into unhealthy habits. You smoke or smoke more. You drink or drink more. You eat pizza and drink beer every night for dinner instead of, figuring out something healthy to eat. You sit around and binge watch Netflix. There are a lot of unhealthy habits that you develop just because you haven't quite figured out what your life is going to be yet. And all habits are hard to break, but those unhealthy ones have got to be addressed. So how do you fix it? Number one, you have got to take control of your health immediately when you retire. Even if you haven't figured everything else out, getting control of that lifestyle, focusing on eating well, exercising, keeping your weight under control, those things will all help you in a very positive way. It helps you emotionally and it helps you physically. Number two is communicate with your partner. And let's talk about this because this is a huge caution, okay? Oftentimes, especially with someone we know so well, our intimate partner, we tend to be hypercritical. Our idea of communication is, well, here's how much you suck at this. And that's not helpful. That is absolutely not helpful in this situation, especially if your partner may be undergoing a little bit of depression, uncertainty, anxiety, there are financial issues, any of those things. I would really encourage you to give your partner some grace and communicate with them, but be encouraging. And oftentimes during this period of transition, couples get counseling, and I would highly advise that. It is a great time to learn how to relate to each other again, how to speak to each other again, and do so in a positive way that produces the outcome you want. The third thing you can do is do things together. Do new things together. Don't do the same old thing, sit in front of the TV or whatever. They can be simple things that don't cost money. Go on walks. Sit on the deck and watch the sunset or the sunrise. Go new places. Go for a drive to nowhere. How long has it been since you did that? Watch good rom-coms together. And by the way, movies like The Notebook or, any of the Nicholas Sparks movies, anything like that, those are really romances, by the way. And those can really encourage those emotional feelings, because when we have anxiety and when we have depression, we tend to disconnect from those positive emotions. So watch movies that inspire positive emotions. Read books that inspire positive emotions. And just a little sidelight on books. My friend Linda that I talk about all the time, she has a new book coming out on the 15th. Fancy. It is the 10th book in the Love Train series. And I was fortunate enough to get to read this book while she was writing it, so it is fabulous. And when you're doing things with your partner, it's not just about things that are, quote, romantic. It's things that get your emotions going, that really get you thinking about other people and how they feel. And none of us are immune from difficult choices. But by watching or reading good stories and good books, we connect with our emotions, with our empathy. And that helps. And the most important thing you can do as a couple to avoid losing intimacy when you are in retirement is to forge a new path together. Once you retire, there is a period of grief for your old life. It's gone. So continuing the same habits you had doesn't even make sense. You are not living that life anymore. And one of the most difficult things is when you have a partner retire and they want to go live a new life and the other partner wants to be stuck in the past. You have to forge a life together, a new life. You have to do new things. You have to rekindle those similar interests that you had. You have to go and do things you both enjoy. You cannot stand still and just remain the same and expect to be happy. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.